What's up, everyone? My name is Morcie, and on this channel, I help others have a shift in consciousness and learn how to heal themselves. And today, I want to discuss this psychological war that's going on, that's being manufactured, that's being marketed, that's being sold to the public. I want to talk about how we can transcend fear-based programming and recognize the inner peace that is always accessible to us whenever we need it. When I look around, all I see is fear-based programming. All I feel is fear-based programming. Even when you do your best to stay away from the media, it's there in your face, whether it's a billboard, whether it's an ad while you're driving, whether it's people to remind you to wear a mask everywhere you go, whether it's a conversation you hear. And when I'm talking about this fear-based programming, it has much to do with this pandemic that's going on right now, right? It's inevitable that this fear-based programming will flow through our mental field. So that's why at this time, it is so deeply important to practice observing the mind, watching thoughts fade away. In fact, this is the optimal time to do so, because you get so many opportunities to make it a part of your reality. The more you make it a part of your reality, you'll realize you have two choices. You can allow you can give thought power, or you can give thought space. Thought is what we make it, right? We are meant to use thought. Thought's not meant to use us. Thought sends us messages, right? Thought allows us to create our own reality. It helps to mold and shape our state of being, the way we think, act, and feel. So the more we can be more aware of thought, the better we are at using thought. We all know what happens when we give thought power, right? We're overreactive. We're living in this reality that's filled with fear, whether it's too much future or too much past. And that's what's happening with all this marketing. Because when you feel a sense of fear, what you end up doing is looking for a sense of authority in someone else. Because you're so afraid you can't trust yourself. Because all this fear-based thinking, all this programming is saying you can't trust yourself. Trust this authority figure who claims to be a scientist. Trust this authority figure who claims to be this doctor who knows everything. And whatever your intuition is telling you, whatever your inner self is telling you, suppress that. Don't believe that. It's not true. It's not real. That's what's happening. Because so many of us who are following what we feel inside, following what we know our inner self is trying to guide us to, it's so obvious of how it's being deflected by the media, how you are being taught to not trust yourself. And that's the one thing that always makes me raise my eyebrows, is when any ideology, any theory tells you to not trust yourself. Now I gotta sit back. You're telling me not to trust myself? I'm the only person who I'm gonna live with my entire life. And you're telling me not to trust myself, not to listen and connect with my inner guide? Yeah, right. Another thing that's happening, that's creating this psychological war, is this you versus me mentality. Whether it's a race war, black, white, whether it's within politics, right, left, Republican, Democrat, whether it's with the pandemic, with the whether you anti this, pro that, with the, I'm not sure if I could say the word because YouTube is censoring so many people. What else are they doing? I've been really intrigued by this anti this and pro that, because what it does is it diminishes a human being down to their mental position on what's happening. So you no longer view this human being as this complex individual, but this very binary, simplistic form, flesh. So easy for the ego, right? The ego, who you think you are, so easy for the ego to say, you're my enemy, you don't agree with me. You see, when you don't have perspective, you're overreactive. The more perspective you have, the less overreactive you are. When you observe the mind, you will have more perspective. Because when you observe the mind throughout your daily life, that practice shifts into how you view the world. Rather than believing the thought that comes to your mind, you realize, hey, I don't have to believe this thought, it's just a thought. It doesn't have to become a part of my belief system, but I can consider whether I want it to be a part of my belief system. So now you're more observing, you're a little bit more chill. You allow others to be as they are. And see, when you allow others to be as they are, you allow yourself to be as you are. You let go of control without, you release that control within. So when it comes to finding inner peace, and when I say inner peace, it's not like you have to search for it, try and find it. It's always there. It's always there, right? Inner peace is when you recognize and you settle in to that undisturbed space within you, regardless of the chaos and distraction that surrounds you, regardless of what trauma you feel like you have not overcome. It doesn't matter your life situation. Inner peace is with you. That's what comes with trusting yourself. So you can go about the world without feeling fear, without feeling this need to blindly trust what the media or who someone tells you is an authority figure, and you become the authority figure for your life. That's an amazing and a huge part of the spiritual awakening process. Learning to trust yourself. I recognize that so many of us are really wanting to find a sense of inner peace, within all of this, a sense of unity. It is very natural for human beings to flock within groups where certain belief systems are the same, right? Birds of the same feather flock together. I forgot the birds of a feather flock together, something like that, okay? It's natural. So I'm not saying like, oh, we should all be unified, we should all have the same beliefs, when they're creating this psychological war that's going on. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we really have to learn how to exercise our minds and be aware of that part that resists another point of view, so that we can become more open to listening points of views that are not our own. See, the really big challenge that I see today is that someone's simple point of view is just somehow a threat to someone's life. Because someone has a point of view, now it's a threat to your life. It's life or death out here. It's safety or freedom. But that's really not the case when you are recognizing that sense of inner peace. Transcending this fear-based thinking, right? They want to create a war. You know what your greatest weapon is? Your greatest weapon is awareness. It doesn't even have to be so, how do I say it? So forceful. right? Your greatest weapon can be effortless. Your greatest weapon can be easy, awareness, so that you are drawn towards decisions that best fit your needs. Truth is what we're all looking for, right? Truth is available to us all. Through the present moment, truth is available to us all. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you believe. When you settle in that sense of inner peace, that stillness, when you recognize that silence within you, basking in the field of spaciousness, truth comes to you. The truth that you need, it comes to you. You know, I'm not here to tell anyone what your belief should be. My goal is for you to learn how to trust yourself and recognize, right, where your inner self is guiding you, what you're trying to be told, what direction you need to be in. You know, it's so important to recognize the importance of the duality of the reality that we live in. With peace comes conflict. With dark comes light. Dark is just as indispensable as light. Conflict is just as indispensable as peace. I would even question, are they opposites? Are they truly opposites? Who knows? That's that philosophical side. Because they're so necessary. We must experience the dark, we must experience the conflict in order to truly recognize the peace and the light. You must be accepting that part, right? So that you can be fluid, loose, and resilient enough to flow with the, how would I say it? To flow with the part of life that is constantly changing, right? The inevitable part of life that is always changing. We all want to be resilient. We all want to be fluid and loose. We don't want to be stiff. We want to be able to flow with change, right? We want to be able to be present, alert, and aware. And that is how awareness becomes our greatest protection. That is how we transcend this fear-based thinking. That is how we don't take part in this psychological war. It's being manufactured, it's being sold, it's being marketed everywhere. Like down below if you notice that. My name is Morcie. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like down below. Be sure to leave a comment down below. Let me know how you feel about what's happening. And also be sure to check out my free guided meditation for observing the mind and observing thoughts and emotions fade away. Until next time, peace.